Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a beautiful day and I refuse to be doing my video today inside. So here we are. My backdrop is trees, but believe it or not, I am at the beach and it's finally not raining. It's been raining here for like 3 weeks now. And I'm very happy to be getting into the 6th personal year number. So sit back and relax and enjoy the beautiful sounds of nature. And let's get to it. So the focus of this year is going to be 1, family obligations, 2, relationships, and 3, peace. You are going to grow up a lot this year, especially if you're in your first half of life. This is a growing year. Last year you had fun. 5 was all about fun, adventure, and lots of changes. And now you're going to be moving into a period of time where any responsibilities that were neglected will come up. Now, your family is your blood relatives, of course, but they're also your friends. They're your pets, your spouse, your boyfriends, and even the people that you live with if you're close to them. And so I also want to put an emphasis on there being an importance of your place in the community. It's very likely that you're going to be called to duty, and it's even more likely that this will be with a specific family member, a friend, like I said, anything that you call family. And if not, it could just be your place in community, because humanity is our family. And as I'm shooting this video, a family of like 10 people just came down and sat down right next to me. Even though there's this whole beach they could have to themselves, they sat down right down next to me. So I would call that a synchronicity. Anyway, let's move on. And it makes sense that the 6th year is going to be all about this, because the title for the 6 is the nurturer. And so naturally this translates to a year focusing on those that we love and those who are important to us or serve an important role in our lives. And it's a year where you might feel like you have a heightened sense of duty, and accepting and acknowledging your responsibilities this year rather than avoiding them and curting them and trying to make excuses is your best bet this year. And of course, I talked a lot about responsibility in the 4, but it's different. It's not you. It's not your life anymore. It's your family's life, your friend's life, your place in the world. It's going to be all about your relationships now, your responsibility as whatever person that you are in this life. And it's going to be within your community. It will be a little bit less of service, of kind of like military type of role, and more about connection, more about how your presence with your specific skill set and whatever you have to face this year in your own growth cycle, what you're going to be bringing to the table, and how you're going to connect to those around you with these tools and with this in mind. I personally had a very dark 6th year a while back when I was going through that, and it was my dark night of the soul period. And you can have a dark night of the soul period throughout any point in this cycle. And for me, when it pertained to this energy, it was an emphasis on not belonging in the community that I was in and not knowing what I was going to bring to the table. It's a lack of purpose, really. And then just having responsibilities and going through the motions of life, but not really having purpose. And that was really difficult. And it's still something that I struggle with. Something that I want to definitely bring up is that you first need to meet your own needs before you tackle everyone else and everything else. You can't put yourself last. You really need to put yourself first so that you have a lot to give to other people. And there's lots of people who will be doing this their whole lives naturally because maybe they are a sixth life path or, whatever. They do take on a caretaker position and then they're just never, taking care of themselves, only taking care of other people. If you're not normally that kind of person, you may become that person this year. And so remember that, if you really want to give to your family and your friends, you have to put yourself first, make your health a priority, make you a priority. Because of your sense of duty, because of realizing the responsibilities that you have this year, it's likely that you will be motivated more than ever to work towards securing a future for yourselves and being more independent and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. Because one who can provide for themselves can usually provide for other people. That there's many functions in that. One, you're not taking from other people, so you're helping in that way, and then there's eventually the hope that you'll get to a point where you'll have enough abundance to take care of those that you love. And so that's a very natural thing to be feeling this year. And like I said before, or I think briefly mentioned before, it's very possible that you will have a specific family member and you'll need to take a caregiver position and actually put all your attention into them. Your parent got sick, or your spouse got sick, or your friend got sick or something. And you need to be there for them on a constant basis, and your attention this year becomes just making sure they're okay and meeting their needs, and etc. And that is why this year is going to be such a growth year, because you're supposed to not be putting yourself first in that way. I mean, as I just said, put yourself first. I don't mean like that. I mean, it's the first year where you're not just living for yourself. You're living for also everyone around you that's very close to you and whom maybe you just, for whatever reason, had some distance or you had different priorities in the past few years. Now you're realizing my relationships are the most important thing in my life and I need to now invest in them. And so that is why this is one of the heaviest growth years that you can experience throughout this 9-year cycle. And so with all that, you will need to acquire patience, because taking care of other people is very hard and it can be very frustrating. And if you didn't already have that skill, you're going to learn a lot about compassion. Compassion will give you patience. Learning how to look at things from all angles, learning how to see from all perspectives. It's frustrating dealing with people who are struggling sometimes for whatever reason, and instead of thinking me, you're going to start looking at it through their eyes and being like, you know what, this is frustrating for me, but this is even more frustrating for this other person who has to put their life on hold or who has to go through this traumatic life experience, and so I will put up with whatever I have to put up with to help this person. So when we take on certain responsibilities, it really depends on the person that you are and where you are in life, but we may also have to put down or reconsider certain beliefs or ideals that we've cultivated up to this point that are no longer applicable, because that is very possible. If the events in your life are occurring in the way that I've explained so far, things that you've normally used in the past are just not relative. They're not applicable, period. You're going to have to put those down and take a look at everything and really ask what new insights you're going to need in order to get through it. And I'm about to go into those. That's actually where peace comes in. This is a year of magnetism. It's a year where what you say and what you do and how you are with other people like really putting your intent in love and compassion instead of all those other things, has a huge impact on those around you. And so you have the ability to instill peace in your community because of that. This may also be a time where you learn about what love actually is because of where you find yourself, because of the circumstances that you find yourself in. You may have to learn a hard lesson. Like love, for example, is not control. It's not controlling people. It's not infatuation or anything that is tied to any sort of condition. And this is, again, where compassion comes in, because when you're helping a person, the best way to not get overly frustrated and overworked about whatever emotion you're going through, the best way to handle that is to simply, very simply, let people be who they are. And so it will take not wanting to control a person. You ever, like this family who just freaking sat down next to me, even though there's this whole beach. You stop and you're like, but why? Why you gotta do that? It's much more easier for you, especially, to just let people be the way they are and then continue existing in your space and love and acceptance. And you will make waves doing that. It sounds very, very simple, but it makes a huge difference. It's like Gandhi type work, when you have compassion, you have reasonings that will help you not only overcome difficult circumstances, but learn so much about yourself and how to create harmony in your life and the life of others. So it's really deep stuff. Like it's interesting because I know a lot about the 6 life path, and I know a lot about 6 repeating numbers, and I know what it means for me when I see that number all the time, and I know all kinds of stuff. But it's like the 6 is like a different animal in the personal year number. It's not usually so much about harmonization and creating peace and love on earth. And I think that's because when a human being has to learn about being the nurturer, has to learn about compassion, it takes this turn of sort of like the 7, which is the faith seeker. You have to be grounded in some kind of faith, which in this case of the 6 is love. You need to be grounded in love. And that is the ultimate human lesson. And so I think that's what creates such depth in this year, such surprising depth for someone who is just learning the depths of what the numbers mean when you're going through them year by year, rather than just being what a person is, which is their life path number. So moving on. Don't take on responsibilities that are meant to be shared, because as I said before, if you're taking on everything, you won't be able to give your full potential. You won't be able to give your all. That the sense of duty may result in the compulsion to be a counselor. That's not a surprise. The book talks about so much. The book that I read, the 6 is actually one of the longest year number, personal year number excerpts that I've read. And so I brought the book with me to the beach because I actually just want to read like a paragraph or 2 directly from the book, because I feel that it would benefit anyone watching right now who's going through this year. So give me a moment to get through here. Oh, let me stretch out my legs because they're hurting. Yeah, that's better. This book, The Life Cycles book by Christine Delory, states at the end, responsibility is another word that is often misunderstood if you are struggling with an obligation reluctantly, resentfully, or fearfully. You are probably doing it for the wrong reason. Responsibility too often implies something for which you have no choice, something which takes away from your freedom, something that is a little appreciated, or something that has been forced on you. Love cannot force. Guilt can and does. If a responsibility is not of your will, then the chances are that it is not yours. Careful thought should be given to your motivation for taking it on. This year's circumstances are offering you the liberty to take care of your real responsibilities lovingly and naturally. The balanced energy of 6 renovates, restores, and heals. Okay, and it also says, this year you are on a journey of power and priority. It is a journey of learning the truth of how you feel about your various relationships. It is a journey of healing the gaps between generations, genders, judgments, and individuals. It is the journey of peace. It is the journey of love. So this is exciting. From a spiritual point of view, like if you're watching this right now and you have a solid spiritual base and you follow all kinds of online accounts and etc., this is like the year your soul gets excited, like your higher self gets excited, because you get to do your work now. It's like what you came to do as a human being on earth. Like this is the year, it's which is interesting now that I think about it, that it was my dark night of the soul year, and I am young, so it makes a lot of sense that one of my 6 years, if I am doing a lot of work, would be a complete breaking down and getting into that void space in order for new things to come in. But anyway, it's an exciting time. Before I wrap up this video, I will share quotes from the book that Christine Delory offers. The first one is, "Now is not the time to cling to what was, but to amend what is," by Helen Hayes. The second is, "Relationships are like pressures that push you in 36 directions of the compass. But as in a crowded streetcar, if you learn how to maintain your balance against all the weights, you might arrive at yourself." From Diana Chang. The last one is Albert Einstein. "Peace can never be achieved by force. It can only be achieved by understanding." So there you have it. The blessing of the 6 is that you get to do your soul's work, and it is magnetism. And now if you finally have been wanting to promote peace on earth, this is your chance. So take it. And don't ever think or assume there will be a next one, because your life can end at any moment. Any of our lives could end at any moment. So be grateful for this year. Be grateful for last year. Be grateful for today. Be grateful for your relationships, no matter how difficult they may be at this time. Be grateful for even having the challenge or the opportunity to have to assume a caretaker role if you are dealing with that right now, with a sick parent or a sick friend. And thank you so much for watching. Please comment below, share your thoughts on this video and this series. Subscribe to my channel. And I am very excited, as always, to be making the next one, which will be the 7, the faith-seeking number. And I think it's going to be really interesting, guys. So stay tuned. And I love you all very much. And have a lovely rest of your day. This whole beach. They have this whole beach. It's where they sit. looks farther away in the camera, but it's like literally right next to me. And there's my view. That's what I was looking at while I was talking to you guys. It's very beautiful. There's the view behind me. There's a mountain behind these trees.